The Russians set themselves up under Marxist presuppositions and tried to equalize the distribution of property, and to call that catastrophic barely scratches the surface. And I know that you guys probably don't learn much about this because for some reason people aren't taught about it, but the good estimates are that the Russians killed about 30 million of their own people between 1919 and 1959, you know, and it's brutal. It's brutal. A lot of that was through starvation. You know, I saw a photograph the other day, which is the worst photograph I've ever seen in my life. This was a photograph that was taken during one of the early starvation periods in the Soviet Union, where about 3 million peasants died. It was a picture of a peasant couple standing behind a table at a market selling human body parts for food. It's like, and you know, I have this weird quirk, which I don't think does me much good, but maybe helps me understand things better. When I see that someone has done something extreme, I learned to do this a long time ago when I worked briefly in a maximum security prison. I try to imagine what I would have to be like, what kind of situation I would have to find myself in to do that. And believe me, man, that's a horrifying enterprise, because it is actually possible, no matter what it is that you read about someone doing, and no matter how unlikely it is that you think you would do that, it's possible to imagine yourself in that situation. And that, well, that's enlightening. That's what I would say. That's enlightening. You know, because one of the things about enlightenment is that you get enlightened by doing things that are necessary that you really, really, really do not want to know, don't want to do. And imagining yourself as a perpetrator of that sort is, that tells you something about the world, and it tells you something about human beings, but it's a hell of a thing to swallow, you know, in a very well-structured society like ours, where we're so peaceful. Well, because we have the heat, and it always works, and we have electricity, and it always works, and we have plumbing, which is a bloody miracle, and it always works.